Hey there, fellow Americans. Breaking news that could change your financial situation: President Biden's latest stimulus plan is making waves, and if you're receiving SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, you might be in for a pleasant surprise this Wednesday. Before we dive deep into these exciting details, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated on the latest stimulus news and financial updates that matter to you. Are you wondering if you'll be eligible for the new $2,356 direct payment? Well, you're about to find out everything you need to know about this game-changing stimulus initiative. The Biden administration has just unveiled a comprehensive economic relief package that specifically targets some of our most vulnerable citizens: Social Security recipients, disabled veterans, and those receiving Supplemental Security Income. Let's break down what's really happening here. The new stimulus plan, which has been carefully crafted to address the ongoing economic challenges faced by millions of Americans, comes as a response to rising inflation and increasing living costs. But what makes this particular payment different from previous stimulus checks? The answer lies in its targeted approach and the specific amount that's been calculated to provide meaningful support to those who need it most. You might be asking yourself, why $2,356 specifically? This amount wasn't chosen randomly. The Biden administration worked with economic advisors to determine a figure that would make a real difference in people's lives while remaining fiscally responsible. The payment takes into account recent inflation rates, average cost of living increases, and the typical expenses faced by beneficiaries of SSI, SSDI, and VA programs. Now, here's what's particularly interesting about this Wednesday's rollout. Unlike previous stimulus payments that were distributed over several weeks or months, this initiative is designed to deliver funds simultaneously to all eligible recipients. But how exactly will this massive distribution be managed? The answer lies in the improved digital infrastructure and coordination between various federal agencies. The Social Security Administration, Department of Veterans Affairs, and Treasury Department have been working around the clock to ensure a smooth distribution process. Their collaborative effort means that eligible recipients won't have to take any additional steps to receive their payments. It will be automatically deposited into the same accounts where they receive their regular benefits. But what about those who are wondering about their eligibility? The criteria for this new stimulus payment have been carefully defined. If you're currently receiving SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, you're likely already in the system and qualified for this payment. However, it's important to note that there are some specific requirements that need to be met. For instance, you must have been actively receiving benefits as of January 2024, and your annual income must fall within certain thresholds. Many of you might be wondering about the timing of this stimulus payment. Why Wednesday? The administration has chosen this specific day to ensure all banking systems are operating at full capacity and to avoid any potential delays that might occur during weekend processing. This strategic timing should result in the smoothest possible distribution of funds. Something that sets this stimulus payment apart from previous ones is its potential impact on other benefits. Unlike some past stimulus payments, this $2,356 payment will not count as income for determining eligibility for other federal or state assistance programs. This means recipients won't have to worry about losing other crucial benefits they depend on. But what can you actually do with this money? While the government doesn't dictate how you should spend your stimulus payment, financial experts suggest several smart ways to utilize these funds. Some recommend creating an emergency fund, paying off high-interest debt, or investing in necessary medical equipment or home modifications that might not be covered by regular benefits. A question many people are asking is whether this will be a one-time payment or part of a series of stimulus checks. While the current announcement only confirms this single payment, the Biden administration has indicated that they're monitoring the economic situation closely and may consider additional support if necessary. This leads to another important question: how sustainable is this kind of economic stimulus? The funding for this stimulus payment comes from a combination of sources, including budget reallocations and specific provisions in recent legislation. But how does this impact the overall economy? Economic experts suggest that targeted stimulus payments like this one can have a positive multiplier effect, as the money tends to be spent quickly and locally, helping to stimulate economic activity in communities across the country. For those concerned about potential scams, and yes, unfortunately, there are always people trying to take advantage of these situations, it's crucial to note that you will not be contacted by anyone asking for personal information to process your payment. The government already has all the information needed to distribute these funds. If someone contacts you claiming to need additional information for your stimulus payment, it's likely a scam. What about the tax implications of this payment? Good news: like previous stimulus payments, this $2,356 will not be considered taxable income. You won't need to report it on your tax return, and it won't affect your tax bracket or liability for the year. This is particularly important for those carefully managing their income levels to maintain benefit eligibility. The timing of this stimulus payment couldn't be more crucial. With many Americans still recovering from the economic impacts of recent years and facing ongoing inflation challenges, this injection of funds could provide much-needed relief. But what makes this particular stimulus different from previous ones? The key lies in its targeted nature and the speed of distribution. For those who might be experiencing anxiety about whether their payment will arrive on time, the government has set up several ways to track your payment. The Get My Payment tool on the IRS website will be updated to include information about this new stimulus, and beneficiaries can also check their My Social Security account or VA.gov account for specific details about their payment. An interesting aspect of this stimulus plan is its potential ripple effect on local economies. When thousands of people in a community receive extra funds simultaneously, local businesses often see an uptick in activity. This multiplier effect can help create a positive economic impact that extends beyond the initial recipients. But how long can we expect these positive effects to last? The administration has also implemented measures to ensure that those who might have recently moved or changed banks won't miss out on their payments. If your direct deposit information has changed, there are procedures in place to ensure you still receive your funds, though it might take a little longer than Wednesday's initial distribution. What should you do if Wednesday comes and goes and you haven't received your payment? First, don't panic. While the majority of payments are scheduled for Wednesday, some may take an additional 24-48 hours to process, depending on your bank. If you haven't received your payment by the end of the week, there will be resources available to help you track and potentially resolve any issues. A critical aspect of this stimulus plan that hasn't received much attention is its potential long-term impact on the recipient's financial stability. Studies from previous stimulus payments have shown that many recipients use these funds to create small emergency savings accounts or invest in their health and well-being, leading to reduced stress and better overall outcomes. For those who might be new to receiving federal benefits, this stimulus payment might raise questions about how it fits into their overall benefits package. It's important to understand that this is a supplemental payment designed to provide extra support during challenging economic times, not a replacement for or modification of existing benefits. One question that keeps coming up is whether this stimulus payment will affect future cost of living adjustments, COLA, for Social Security recipients. The answer is no. This payment is entirely separate from the regular COLA calculations and won't impact future benefit adjustments. This is crucial information for those planning their long-term financial stability. The distribution of these funds also highlights the government's improved ability to quickly get money into the hands of those who need it most. Compared to the early days of the pandemic, when stimulus payments took weeks or months to reach some recipients, this streamlined process demonstrates significant progress in the government's payment distribution capabilities. But what about the broader economic implications of this stimulus payment? While $2,356 might not seem like a massive amount in the grand scheme of things, when multiplied by millions of recipients, it represents a significant injection of money into the economy. How will this affect inflation? Economic experts suggest that because this is a targeted payment rather than a universal one, the inflationary impact should be minimal. For those wondering about the future of such stimulus payments, it's worth noting that this current payment is part of a larger strategy to provide targeted support to specific groups rather than implementing broad-based stimulus measures. This approach reflects a more nuanced understanding of economic support needs and could set the pattern for future assistance programs. The timing of this payment also aligns with several other economic initiatives, creating a comprehensive approach to economic support. But what does this mean for the average recipient? It means that this stimulus payment is just one part of a larger strategy to provide economic stability and support to those who need it most. One aspect that deserves attention is how this stimulus payment might affect different regions of the country differently. Given variations in cost of living across the United States, $2,356 will have different impacts in different areas. However, the standardized amount ensures fairness in distribution while acknowledging that all recipients face increased costs in their daily lives. For those who might be helping elderly or disabled family members manage their finances, it's important to understand how this stimulus payment might affect their overall financial planning. While the payment won't impact their regular benefits, it might provide an opportunity to address some long-standing financial needs or create a small safety net for future expenses. The question of whether this stimulus payment will be enough to make a meaningful difference in people's lives is complex. While $2,356 may not solve all financial challenges, it represents a significant amount that can help cover essential expenses, pay down debt, or provide a buffer for unexpected costs. The key is using these funds strategically to maximize their impact. Looking ahead, what does this stimulus payment tell us about the future of government support programs? The targeted nature of this payment, combined with its efficient distribution method, might serve as a model for future economic support initiatives. Could this be the new standard for how government assistance is provided? For those who receive multiple types of benefits, for example, both SSDI and VA benefits, you'll need to know that you'll only receive one stimulus payment. The system is designed to prevent duplicate payments while ensuring that everyone eligible receives their fair share. But how will the system determine which program to process the payment through? The impact of this stimulus payment on families with multiple benefit recipients is particularly noteworthy. In households where more than one person receives SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, the cumulative effect of these payments could be substantial. How might this affect household financial planning and decision-making? Another important consideration is the role of financial education in maximizing the benefit of this stimulus payment. While the government provides the funds, it's up to recipients to make informed decisions about how to use them. This raises questions about the availability of financial counseling and support services for benefit recipients. As we approach Wednesday's distribution date, many recipients are already making plans for their stimulus payments. Some are focusing on immediate needs, while others are looking at longer-term financial goals. The diversity of approaches reflects the varying financial situations and needs of benefit recipients across the country. The success of this stimulus program will likely be measured not just by the smooth distribution of funds, but by its impact on recipients' financial stability and the broader economy. Will this targeted approach prove more effective than previous, more general stimulus efforts? Only time will tell, but the initial outlook is promising. For those who have been struggling with rising costs and financial challenges, this stimulus payment represents more than just money. It's a recognition of their needs and challenges. How will this acknowledgement affect public perception of government support programs and their importance in maintaining social stability? As we wrap up this detailed look at the new stimulus payment, remember that staying informed about your benefits and financial opportunities is crucial. The economic landscape continues to evolve, and new support programs may become available in the future. How can you stay updated on these developments? If you're finding this information helpful and want to stay informed about future stimulus payments, benefit updates, and financial news that affects SSI, SSDI, and VA benefit recipients, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're committed to bringing you the latest accurate information about government benefits and financial support programs. Remember, while this stimulus payment is significant, it's just one part of maintaining financial stability. Continue to monitor your benefits, stay informed about changes in programs that affect you, and make informed decisions about your financial future. What steps will you take to make the most of this opportunity?